Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing okay. Well, I'm tired of the cold weather. We Monday. It was so nice out.
Gorgeous.
Yes, and I think you went running on Monday.
I did go for a run. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've been up and down and dealing with some freezing rain and stuff like that. So. Yeah, it has not been fun. But
it's that time of year.
I'm ready for spring.
I'm making the prediction. I know the groundhogs didn't see a shadow.
No.
There's going to be 6 weeks more. I don't know which that is, but the reality is the geese are back. The ice is starting to thaw on the lake.
Yeah.
I think we might get 1 or 2 more blasts. I'm not, Matt Rudkin. I'm not a weather
right.
guy.
Yeah.
But I really think we're almost there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're almost there. Don't get me. We might get another 25 degree, 20 degree days, whatever. We're at. The end is in sight. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I've got a spring break vacation coming up here. I'm looking forward to that. And that's going to be really nice, and I hope I come back to warmer weather,
I'm with you. I'm making a quick trip to Florida the end of this month, and it's a business trip, right? Going out to do some stuff. But, getting out of this colder weather, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
If I could have, I don't mind the cold as long as we're not getting snow or freezing rain.
Yeah.
Especially having to run out and about in it. 25 degrees, I'm good with that all day. It's actually pretty nice. It's brisk. It's fun. It's nice, but snow, I'm done with.
Yeah, no,
I'm
me too.
done with snow.
Well, I have a puppy, so I have to take the puppy out all the time.
You got to take some
and it's
walk.
like, go potty, let's go potty. And the wind is,
go.
yeah, it's like, I'm over it. So anyway, all right. So we want to talk about buying during this time.
Yeah, and it seems like a common theme. I looked at the last couple of shows we've done. It's all about buyers. Well, this time of year it is buyers. It's buyers getting ready to buy. Is it the right time for you? Any of those things. And just thought I'd talk a little bit about, what is the benefit. Last week we talked about buying at the beginning of the year because if home prices go up 6% year over year, as you go throughout the year, home prices are a little bit higher.
Right.
So this time of year is actually the lowest point if you consider home prices appreciate every year.
Right.
At some percentage, whether it's 3%, 6%. Buying earlier in the year is to your benefit.
Because this is like right before the ramp up of the market. It gets busier during the summertime.
Correct.
So
you get more people looking.
Yeah.
You get more people looking this time of year. Tax returns start coming in.
Yes. Yeah.
People get that incentive. Hey, I should be buying now. Because what are they looking at? Well, I've been renting, and my rent has gone up year over year over year over year.
Yeah.
And there's studies out there. I got some pretty cool graphs that show going all the way back to 1988 that rents very rarely decrease. They have increased over time, just as housing prices very rarely decrease. Right? They continue to go up. Now there comes a point when the tipping point when it's not going to go up. I mean, an 800 square foot house in downtown Warsaw at 6% a year. We're not going to be looking at that in 70 years and go, oh, it's $1 million for that house. Now maybe it will. I don't know. Inflation.
Yeah, right.
Over time.
It could.
That's where when you see government studies and those things, they say adjusted for inflation and all of those things. But the reality is, owning your own home helps you build equity and long-term wealth for you and your family.
Yeah.
Period. In general. Now, again, owning is not right for everybody. If you travel a lot, if you're not around, you can't take care of the maintenance and any of those things, maybe buying a house isn't the smartest move. I think we talked before about my daughter. She travels a lot for work.
Yeah.
Her owning a home would kind of be crazy. Number one, living in Washington, D.C., the starter homes are $1 million.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's very expensive. In DC proper, you can get outside, but then you got the commute and all those things that go with that. But just maintaining a home takes time, takes energy, and it's an expense. Where when you rent, you pay the rent. The landlord takes care of most things, right? You don't have any maintenance. You don't have any of those things. But long term, for financial security, owning a home enables you to gain in equity over time.
Right.
Now, owning a home is not a short term. It's not a 1 year, 2 year cycle. It's I don't want to buy it this year and sell it next year.
No.
And that's what keeps a lot of people on the sideline. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do in a year. I may be moving. And if that's the case, then maybe renting is the smarter move for you long term.
Sure.
Or during this time period. But if you're, I look back and I've had clients, I've been doing this since 2005. I look back, clients are still in houses that I sold them in 2006, 2007. The national statistics for National Association of Realtors says used to be people moved every 7 years. I think it's increasing. I think it's longer. And myself, I'm part of that. I've been in the same house for 25 years this year.
Well, I think it's like when you're younger, you might move around more, but when you establish a family and you're in that family home, I think if you just did that study on family homes, I think people stay in their family homes for like 20 years or so.
I think they do, and I've got some young folks that I've sold a couple of houses for here. On Facebook, we're friends on Facebook. They just posted, our family home, 30 years.
Yeah.
It just now went on the market. The parents are in that stage to where they're selling the home.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get older and the kids are out of the house, they might move like a couple more times, retirement community or where,
That's what I'm looking for.
Get a condo in Florida, whatever,
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, for buyers, you've got to make your own decision on what it is, but buying at this time of year, to take advantage of the fact that homes are going to appreciate near the end of the year, may be a good idea.
All right, so we're going to dig in deeper a little bit more coming up right here, right after the break, about buying this time of the year. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and we're talking about the benefits of buying a home this time of year.
Yeah, and not only just this time, anytime, quite honestly, but this time of year beats the appreciation for this year. Now, again, it's like trying to time the market.
Yeah.
Time the stock market. When's the right time to buy?
Right.
I don't know. You still have to evaluate, is it the right time for me and my family? But the reality is, if you buy it and hold it long term, it is an investment long term. It's a long-term investment. It's not a short-term investment, long-term investment. But you will build equity over time. How is that? You're paying off your mortgage. As it goes, you're paying off principal over, every month. You make your monthly payment, you're paying off principal, which is equity in your home. That's money that if you need to, at some point, you need to get an equity line.
Yep.
Or ultimately, you want to build to where I've paid my house off early and I'm done and I no longer have a house payment. That's a position we'd all like to be in, right? To where you no longer have a house payment. Because think about it, one of your single largest expenditures every single month is housing.
It is.
And when you rent, it's gone forever. You get nothing back out of that rent. If you invest in a home, the equity is yours. When you sell it, you'll receive that money coming back, at some point. Now, again, it's not a 1 year, 2 year process. The longer you hold it, the more you're giving it time to catch up with the market. And I think that's something that we've lost. We all want instant gratification. We want to have, in 20, 21, 22, nobody wants to talk about it anymore. We're all sick of talking about it, but home prices were going up 20 and 30% a year.
Yeah, they were.
Kind of crazy. It's no longer that. So, but home prices are still higher than they were back when all the studies I've talked about, back in 1988. But the fact is, interest rates were 7% in 1988, just so they're 7% now. The difference is values have increased pretty dramatically. They've gone up a lot.
Right.
Which, if you had bought a home in 1988 and were still holding it, you'd be going,
oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Right? It's tough for the person that's jumping into the market today.
Right.
But I guess to sum this all up, if you never get in, you're never going to receive the benefits of that home ownership as it moves in.
Well, I have said many times that if it wasn't for me buying my starter home, my first home, I never would have been able to afford the bigger family home that I'm in right now.
Correct. Because it builds equity over time.
You're right.
My grandparents moved multiple times. We talked before the break about, hey, people are staying in homes longer. My grandparents were buying and selling and gaining equity. They were, non-high school grads, worked at GM. Yeah. But they did very well for themselves buying and selling homes through the years because home prices continued to appreciate.
Right.
And they gained and took advantage of that as they moved on. So as an investment, your home is an investment. Think about that long term. just like putting money aside for a 401k for the future. And I know it's tough for a lot of people to do that. You know, I get a lot of folks that are looking at buying that say, well, I don't want to be house poor. I still want to be able to do all the things that I want to do. The fact is, if you're paying rent, you have zero control over how much that rent's going to be year after year after year.
Right.
If you buy a home, at least you have control of the fixed portion. If you have a fixed rate mortgage, you have a control of that part of your housing.
Yeah.
You can't control taxes. You can't control insurances. Just like we've had inflation and everything. Everything's gone up. Homeowners insurance has gone up. Everything's gone up.
Yeah.
Home prices have gone up, and interest rates are higher.
Yeah.
But if you're going to buy and hold long term, it's still a good idea. It's still a good long term investment.
Well, you know, and one thing you mentioned was like in 20 and 21 when home prices were going up 20 and 30%. Okay, so also rents were going up, and I don't know if it was 20, 30%, but it was more than normal. Yeah. And also the property taxes that those landlords are paying on those properties
go up.
They went up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything went up.
Yeah.
So, you know, buying this time of year, there's not as much demand going on, but it's beginning. It's starting. We're coming into that upward cycle in the real estate market. You are going to see more homes come on the market as you go. And for sellers who have their houses listed today, it actually, because there's fewer people out there, why not get ahead of the curve and sell it before you've got more demand?
Yeah,
more supply.
Yeah, there's less inventory out there.
There's less inventory, but we're beginning to see it. You know, the statistics say that there is significantly more inventory now than there was in 20 and 21. It's crazy the amount of homes that are on the market. We're starting to see days on market begin to increase. Yeah. And over time, we're seeing sellers pull back. Well, that's not a price reduction necessarily. It doesn't mean the values of homes are going way down. It means they priced higher in order trying to take advantage of the market. And in order to get it sold, there's got to be equilibrium. You got to meet a price where the buyers are willing to pay it, and if they're financing, that it will appraise. So, you know, home values aren't coming down. You're going to see headlines, home prices, you know, slash dramatically, just like I saw an article about interest rates. Interest rates fall 0.05%.
Yeah.
We're still at 7%. That's the headline.
Yeah.
That's the headline. We are not going to see a major reduction back to 2019 prices on homes. Yeah. Not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, interesting. You think it's more of a balanced market at this point?
We're getting closer to a balanced market. Okay. We are. If it's not already there, I mean, it's hard to say. We're so early into this year. Last year still finished up more homes sold in Kosciuszko County last year than it did the year before.
Wow.
I would expect to see that same thing. But the average prices, the curve is leveling. It's not as steep, meaning prices aren't going up as fast. You know, but they still went up.
No matter where we're at in the market, it's always interesting that there's always a story to tell, you know, on it. And if you'd like to continue this conversation with Mark personally, you can reach out to him. Mark, your contact info?
Sure. Website, skabowskiteam.com. Phone numbers, 574-527-0660. You can always email me if that's easier, mark@skabowskiteam.com.
All right, very good. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.